Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. A major update arriving yesterday to Modern Warfare 2 with the Warzone 2 stuff happening and all that as well, but some significant changes to multiplayer going along with it, some that the pros are certainly not happy about given what they wanted to get changed, and also OpTic seemingly revealing they want the M4 gone from the competitive meta. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, surprising news to me, I thought. Carson joining the Seattle Surge as their data analyst for the new season. Interesting stuff because Carson, I think I've shared some of his content before. He's worked in the past with Esports Engine and last season with COD League Stats. He was one of their premium, like their main stats guy basically, who would bring up the stuff on the broadcast and make sure that the stats are ready to go to share. So if he's leaving the CDL and gone to work for Seattle Surge, maybe that's his own choice, maybe it's the CDL's choice, I don't know. They're going to need someone to replace that role, so I thought it was kind of surprising, but still pretty cool, right, to see that teams are taking this type of stuff very serious indeed. Data analysis, analyst work, just this type of stuff in general. Let's talk about the CDL then. So honestly, I've got to give some credit here to the designers because I actually don't think this CDL camo set is too bad. So this is the CDL 2023 launch pack available today, and it's actually not terrible. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? Like, I don't know, it's obviously not spectacular, but for the CDL stuff, it's not too bad. It kind of looks like the Cold War one, but it may be one of the best that we've had. I mean, the weapon camo's all right as well. Look, it's black and white because those are the COD League colors, and they've done a pretty good job with it, to be perfectly honest, I think. So it's not awful, and if I saw someone running around with this, I'd think, okay, that's pretty interesting. Let me have a look at what that is in the store, and we might have some people that actually find out about the COD League from looking at this. So look, if you run around with this, you want people to recognize it, it looks pretty good. I don't think we can hate on this particular one too much. However, the other elements of this, right, so this is the main CDL camo blueprint type thing, and then there's the other teams have their own ones, and that's where the questions start getting raised. So this is arriving today, along with, we believe, all the other team pack skins. Now, these are the other ones that will be released today, and it's just absolute classic stuff. Now, in fairness, it's slightly different to usual, and we'll see that with the OpTic one here in a second. This is the base kind of CDL one, then you've got the Ultra one, the LA Thieves one, and it's just the same thing with different colors as we expect. And it's the same thing, unfortunately, with the camos. Now, I believe this is only for the short term, potentially. Like, at the end of the day, they've added these into the game relatively shortly after release, which is pretty good. They've got them out before the CDL season begins. We heard rumors probably a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, that the teams were going to have their ability now, or the ability to design their own blueprints and camos and weapon skins and stuff in the game that clearly aren't arriving yet, and they're doing other stuff for now. Just to mention actually on this OpTic one, because some people were mentioning this, that you can see on the OpTic skin here, and I'm guessing it's the same on others, they've got the Razer sponsorship on their chest and also on the arm. So pretty interesting, just because it's somewhat closer to their real life jersey, and you know, they can have sponsors and stuff in the game, so that like adds another element that we haven't seen in the past. So I guess that's kind of a cool thing as well. But I'm hoping that over time the teams can actually design their own ones of these, because I imagine they haven't already designed these. It looks like the camo designers or whatever have just put these in, copied and pasted, changed the colors, changed the logo, the classic stuff, rather than anything spectacular in the game. And as yet, I don't imagine that any designers have had real say of this outside of the ones that actually do this stuff on a year-by-year basis. Like, no one from the OpTic side has actually come up with this, I imagine, and clearly no one from the OpTic side has come up with these team pack skins once again. So again, they're in the game. Look, I think they're releasing these earlier than usual, hopefully because in due course, they're going to do another pack on top of this, because, you know, money, 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 baby, where they actually allow the teams, hopefully, to do this. Now, it hasn't been confirmed that the teams will be allowed to design their own stuff, but we heard those rumors a couple of weeks ago now that they will, but also we heard rumors around a similar time that there was a team pack that looked like this that was arriving into the game. Like, okay, there's a few examples. The Toronto one looks nice, the other ones aren't exactly great. I mean, look, it's classic stuff that we tend to see. They're not awful, but it's kind of like, maybe it's a 50 headshot camo type skin in my opinion. The Elgato FaZe one is just pretty terrible. Seattle Surge is ugly as well. London isn't great. It's not even, it kind of looks more cream than white, but, you know, whatever. It's not the end of the world. We believe that in due course they will be adding blueprints into the game. That's kind of what Crone mentions here. Well, firstly, this from Lion Man, right? He's been designing these nice ones. This is Los Angeles Thieves, of course, for example. But yet none of this stuff is seemingly getting into the game anytime soon. But yeah, we did have those rumors a while ago, and even Crone says that the rumor is those weapon blueprints, not weapon skins. So yeah, this is where it gets a little bit questionable to me, because if down the line they're allowed to do blueprints with potentially different camos, but also if you're going to do a blueprint, you've then got to have like the set attachments on it, and you've got to wonder if there's a good chance they get that wrong, and therefore the weapon skins or the weapon camos camos that are actually good and cool that the CDL teams can design for themselves, which you hope that they can, may not be usable because they're blueprints with the wrong attachments maybe. I don't know, especially if the meta changes and stuff. So yeah, not ideal, but I think this has happened rather earlier than usual, and it gives me some hope that by the time, February, let's say, January, February comes around, we actually could get some CDL designed camos themselves into the game, which is really what we want, because yeah, again, they're rather lackluster year on year. Let's talk about some of the other things in the update then. As he says, this update is slower than TJ Halley in full sprints, and these are some of the changes. Firstly, on the M4 apparently. So Parasite reckons that there's way less visual recoil. He reckons this has changed kind of across the board. Beans doesn't necessarily seem to agree, but he, of course, one of the issues in this game is the recoil isn't particularly high on many weapons at all, but sometimes the visual recoil, like how much the gun actually kicks around in your hands, is much greater than the actual effect of the recoil itself. So apparently the M4 is now potentially even better than it was before. This is another point on the SMGs, certainly for the Vaznev. They've added, I don't believe there used to be options for like the underbarrels, or there was some like attachment part that wasn't allowed on the SMGs. Now you can have these underbarrels. I think there's a couple of new ones that have been added as well that are now viable and usable on the Vaznev to make it strafe even faster than usual. And some have been suggesting that, yeah, I think there was even a new barrel potentially as well. Not exactly sure what's going on here, but apparently the Vaznev is now basically better than it was before because you've got more combinations and more attachments you can use to take it to another level. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen on the GA side, but if the M4 and Vaznev are both gotten slightly better for various reasons as a result of this patch update, then what is going to happen and what do the pros think about that? Because we know already the M4 is on the verge of getting GA'd. We know that maybe potentially Slasher and others aren't so happy with the Vaznev being allowed. So yeah, what does that mean, right? We've had many weapons get banned already. It might just only be the beginning, and even Arcitys is on board of getting rid of these SMGs as well. Some players are blessed getting extra speed, dead silent. I'm stuck in the mud. So, of course, dead silence is just the field upgrade that the SMGs get to use, but the ARs, I guess, generally are using the trophy systems, so they don't get that advantage. And he talks about the extra speed, which I'm pretty sure is due to this new underbarrel attachment that you can snap on the Vaznev. Now, apparently you can also slide cancel yet again. So slide cancelling was a big talking point this season, right? That it was gone at the start of the game. It was then discovered various ways to do it in the beta. The developers clearly don't want it in the game. They tried to get rid of it again for the full release, which practically worked. Now, there is a new slide cancel variant here, which I think is just like normal slide cancelling, but it doesn't look particularly viable from my perspective. Like, it's not quite a Modern Warfare 19 slide cancel or a Cold War slide cancel or something like that. Like, and even Arcitys says, you can slide cancel at someone like this, you're going to get flicked like a booger, right? He reckons that there's no chance this is a viable strategy. So, yeah, I don't know. If slide cancel remains, does that change anything at all? Does it change the movement the pros are currently using, which isn't really much, to be honest? This might be viable in certain situations. It's nice to be able to slide or dolphin dive to get away from something, but using them in the midst of a fight is probably not the way to go. And Arcitys doesn't believe this new version is viable, but yet again, it's potentially back there. Now, if it is there, you think Infinity Ward might well try and remove it, because they've tried to do that before. They got rid of the bunny hopping as well as a movement meta in the beta also. So Arcitys doesn't reckon this is so viable, but worth mentioning. And here we go from Saints, right? I thought this was pretty funny to read. Red dots on the minimap, no headshot multiplayer. They added original Modern Warfare 2 maps, High Rise, Scrapyard, Invasion, and Karachi. Dead Talent is now a perk. The Vaznev got buffed. Never been happier with the update, he says right here. So yeah, congratulations on an update. Of course, he's just joking around, taking the mic. Nothing really of this sort has been changed, unfortunately. Like, he kind of had me for the first couple until he said they added the maps, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way. They're waiting for next season to make us pay $70 for that one. And even Parasite said they added red dots on the minimap in private matches. Oh my god, but of course, no screenshot attached because it turns out this is fake news and not actually the case. And here's Slasher says right here, download is finished, still no red dots, right? So yeah, crazy. We thought for the first couple of weeks potentially that this Infinity Ward was a bug, it was unintentional, that there were no red dots allowed in private matches. Turns out, yeah, there's still no option to turn them on. So yeah, the pros obviously aren't happy about it. Chino, Slasher not happy about it at all. And even I thought this is pretty funny. So Crone says, you look, it's fake news. And I mean, look, Crone comes from the absolute top ropes up against Parasite right here. My blue tick is dope and energetic though. I'm not going to say any more of that. If you know, you know. I think we'll just leave it there for the time being. Couple of quick things of drama before we talk about the OpTic situation on the M4 is that GAs are a big topic of discussion lately. Now, this video came up from Shotzzy just a couple of days ago now, where he was basically a scrim up against the Toronto Ultra. Not sure how long ago this was, probably a long time ago now. And well, as you can actually see in this image, we've got, I mean, it's obviously very small, and he deleted this tweet. I mean, I knew he was going to delete this tweet, so I had to screenshot it because Standy is actually built different on the tweet deletions. It's almost like he has a program that after after 3 hours his tweets just auto-delete, because that's what it seems to be with this guy. But anyway, you can kind of make it out here that one of his teammates, probably iLLeY, I think it was iLLeY that was running the org in this scrim, and the org, the STB, has been banned by the pros, and you know, Standy was asking the question, okay, why was your teammate using that in the scrim? Turned out there wasn't really anything to this, just because Standy admitted that this came out just after he got GA'd, so the org was just GA'd and we played through the map anyway, so that's why iLLeY was using it in that particular scrim. There were some questions about that as to why, but the fact of the matter is that scrim was recorded quite some time ago now, a few days ago, which is why, you know, we saw Standy say this, but I don't really know what he said there because then it got deleted. So, I mean, yeah, it's classic stuff. But obviously on the GA discussion, there's been comments on the tuning now. I think we saw this a while ago that the pros have decided that any of the attachments, the tuning is not going to be allowed. It was a talking point, right? Okay, would the pros bother with the tuning? Would they not bother? Because like the amount of like just in-depth you can go with all these attachments, you tune them for this, tune it for that, it's absolutely madness, to be honest. The pros have decided they're getting rid of it, right? He says, yes, sir, Scrappy. Someone better tell the amps to take that off for the pro-am. Because, I mean, look, that'd be pretty spicy, right? The amateurs right now don't have tuning bands, so they can adjust their attachments any which way they like. The pros are not doing that, though. So the amateurs that turn up to the pro-am with those classes could get kind of spicy, right? So we'll definitely stay tuned for that one. And just added, well, further to the GA list, it seems like, I'm not sure if Challenger players are honouring this yet, but yeah, added the weapon tuning to the GA, says Crone, and obviously the list at this point is getting rather lengthy indeed. Wanted to share Rambo's perspective though, because he was watching the Challengers Cup the other day, sees one particular gunfight win by the M4, and says, get this weapon out of the game ASAP. We heard the rumours yesterday as to which teams were potentially wanting it gone. Seems like OpTic is one of them.
Did he get it? No, he didn't. Oh my god, that was literally a split second. That was badass. Oh, he got the kill. That was crazy. Oh, dude, that's the M4. Get that shit out of here. Get it out. Get it out. Bro, he just hip-fired him. We're raging tonight. We're in a raging mood tonight. Are you kidding me?
So which teams still want the M4 in the game? Well, it's clearly, if Rambo's saying what he said there, you can imagine that he's not really on board with keeping it in the game. And if he's not on board with keeping it, probably the OpTic team isn't on board with keeping it either. We know that Sasha wants it gone and FaZe. We know that Accuracy and the Seattle Surge want it gone. Which teams are holding out? We talked about maybe Toronto, maybe Vegas. Kind of depends, because I think Vegas in general and Clayster has kind of been a player that prefers to play the game out of the box if possible. He recognises this year that this game is unplayable out of the box, I'm sure, and definitely has needed some GAs and some changes to make it viable for competitive play. But Clay's a guy that can and has taken advantage of these type of weapons in the past to good effect, and it might be a similar story here in Vegas. Might be holding out hope, or maybe they want it gone as well. It's kind of tough to say right now. And just to finish up with this, I thought it was pretty funny here from Crone. This guy straight up outsmarts COD timing, holds this angle for about 5 seconds, knows that as soon as he looks away, the guy's going to come around the corner. So he looks away, looks back, and gets the kill. Easy as you like. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.